Sticking her head out of the canvas back flap of the ram-drawn wagon, a young dwarf girl looked around, squinting at the low light of Coldridge Valley.
Are you sure this is where you ought to drop me off, Papa?
Aye, lass. This be the place,
said an older dwarf, pulling a sheaf of parchment from his breast pocket and affixing a pair of pince-nez on the end of his bulbous nose. He double-checks the official letter from the king, and he reads,
Malin Stoneshaper, you have been officially called to order. By decree of King Magni Bronzebeard, that effective sunrise tomorrow, your eldest child is to have the highest honour to serve the Alliance in any way he or she can. Please ensure said offspring is armed and capable, have them dropped off at Anvilmar in Coldridge Valley, and seek out the Ironforge official, Sten Stoutarm, at the clearing.
The elder dwarf climbs down from the wagon and goes to the back. Lifting the flap, he sees his oldest daughter, sitting stubbornly, nervously spinning a dagger in her fingers. Elida stands up and exits the wagon.
But what if I am terrible, Papa? I don't think I could face it if I let you down.
Elida Stoneshaper, you listen to me, lass. You are the most capable dwarf I know. You are fast, you are tough, you are headstrong like your mother was. And you're my little girl.
Elida slides down from the wagon and hugs her father.
Oh, Papa, stop. You start those waterworks and you have us both weeping like fools.
Yeah, right. Sorry, lass. It's just, you're all I have left. I see your mother's violet eyes every time I look at you. How can you expect me to say goodbye?
Look this, Papa.
And Elida hugs her father again, this time tighter with love and respect. Clearing the new sobs about to surface from the young girl's throat, she says,
Now off with ya. Gone. Get your coat. In a few days, I'll be back in Ironforge, and I'll come home if I can.
True, but you won't be able to stay. Home, from now on, will be wherever your hearthstone is set. You can come visit any time you wish, but you won't be home again.
The elder dwarf smiles and circles round back to the wagon, not being able to bear to turn around to face the girl Milan simply stated.
Oh, Elida, before I forget.
Aye, Papa. What is it?
I love you, and I'm proud of you. And I expect so is your mother.
The young dwarven girl watched as her father's cart disappeared behind the mountain pass. Knowing she is alone now, with just her dagger and the clothes on her back, Elida looks around to see her surroundings. For a small clearing in the mountains, it is bustling. Ironforge officials in a semicircle by a caravan wagon and a few dozen dwarven recruits, and even a handful of gnomes, are walking and jogging around doing busy work. It was a lot busier than what you see in most of Morogh. One dwarf eagerly looked to Elida and beckoned her over, introducing himself as Sten Stoutarm. He was an Ironforge official.
I just saw you got dropped off, lass. My name is Sten Stoutarm, an official from Ironforge and recruiter. What be your name?
Elida Stoneshaper, sir.
Ah, and what be your skill set?
Skill set, sir.
Aye, your skill set. Are you blessed in the holy light, or are you fixing to don heavy armour? Maybe both.
Me Papa says I'm fast and tough, sir.
Ah, clearly you be a rogue then, lass.
Sten checks the timepiece in his breast pocket and continues.
I can assist you while we wait.
Wait for what, sir?
Sten chuckles.
Wait for your class trainer to wake up. Master Solm Hagrin is who you want to talk to, but he's a rogue, and it's sunrise. Rogues usually specialise in hiding in the dark and shadows. He damn near went to bed only an hour ago. And you are going to be up with the chickens. But true, the letter did say to be here by sunrise.
No worries, sir. I'm up early every morning. I always have been a wee bit of an early bird. So if you could assist me until Master Hargren awakes, I'd do what I can to help.
Ha! A rogue that's a self-proclaimed early bird and being helpful. Most of your kind is shady and underhanded. But look at you, you're bright and you're cheery, all smiles. Up at dawn and ready to work. You are a walking contradiction to what you find in rogues on a regular basis.
If you say so, Master. Don't arm. Just tell me where to start.
By the gods, and you're polite to boot. Okay there, early bird rogue. Let's start by warming those hands up.
And warm her hands she did. Elida, or Early Bird, as she came to be known to her fellow Alliance constituents, accepted her first quest from Sten Stoutarm. She was eager to test her trusty dagger officially for the first time. It was indeed a frigid day in Coldridge Valley. She could start to feel the insides of her nose freeze. However, Early Bird stuffed that down for the moment. She had a task to accomplish. She started down into the valley proper in search for wolves. They weren't hard to find. Early Bird contemplated the importance of such a task as well as the motive. She thought to herself, why kill the wolves? Are they harming anyone? She quickly dismissed this thought as she knew that this was more than just a simple trade. It was a test of her commitment to the king, Magni Bronzebeard, and her people. Concentrated on her goal, she drew her dagger and engaged her first wolf. The snarling creature reacted quickly, clawing and biting at the fledgling rogue. She fumbled a bit at first, and earned some nasty gashes on her forearm and shoulder. However, Early Bird eventually found her way. She dodged many of the creature's coming blows and countered by sinking her dagger deep into the creature's flesh. Once, twice, 3 times. The dance of battle seemed to come naturally to her. Finally, she dealt the death blow and watched as the beast fell. This was the first time she confronted death since the loss of her mother. Deep down, she felt an unwelcomed but familiar tinge of pain and sorrow. But this scenario was somehow different. Early Bird didn't feel pride about the kill, no. But she did feel a sense of accomplishment. She held back tears as she looked at the fallen beast and in her own mind thanked it for its sacrifice. Early Bird took a deep breath and plunged her dagger into the beast and gutted it. A stench immediately escaped the carcass. She swallowed and skinned the animal as her papa had shown her when she was but just a lass. Memory took over as she extracted a lump portion of meat from the beast's haunch. She placed the bloody portion of flesh, still warm, into her pouch and stood up. She took a long look at her blood-stained hand, finally breathed out, and wiped the residue on her pants. 7 more to go, she thought to herself. When her task was complete, Early Bird was near sweating. Killing, gutting, skinning, and carving wolves was hard work. She made her way back to the outpost where Sten Stoutarm stood, her pouch full of bloody wolf meat. Upon showing Stoutarm her quarry, he brightened up and patted her hard on the shoulder. She cringed a bit as it still burned from the scrapes, thanks to the wolves. He took the meat, barehanded, placed it on the ground and covered it with snow. He then opened up his pack and presented Early Bird with sturdy leather gloves. "These are for you," he said. "You've earned them for sure." Early Bird smiled, thanked Stoutarm, and immediately put them on. The gloves were very comfortable, lined with wolf hide. They were also thin enough to allow her to dexterously move her trusty blade about. And most important, no more numb fingers. Stoutarm then told her that Solm Hargren should now be somewhat awake, and that Early Bird should seek further instruction from him. If you are to be a successful rogue, Early Bird, it's time to receive your first training. Take this encrypted rune and read it. Then seek out your master. Nearly jumping with joy, Early Bird took the rune, thanked Stoutarm, and made her way to Anvilmar to meet Solm for the first time. While jogging over to Anvilmar, Early Bird deciphered the document. It spoke of the camaraderie of the Dwarven rogues and the importance of their skills. Finally, Earlybird made it to Anvilmar and met with Salm. He was a rugged-looking dwarf, but had a certain sharpness to him as well, mostly from his deep, dark eyes. He spoke of the importance of the rogue order and how he could teach her maneuvers and tricks to make her a stealthy combatant. Salm then showed her how to blend into the shadows and become near invisible. Earlybird was amazed at how easily the ability came to her. With Salm's instructions, she was now able to concentrate on her breathing and footwork to blend into the background, becoming effectively silent. She could now surprise her enemies from behind. And surprise them, she did. With her newly taught skill, Earlybird stalked the snowy fields of Coldridge Valley, disposing of trogs encroaching on her people's lands and aiding a local hunter restore a natural balance to the boar population. She received new pieces of armor as rewards for completing her duties. With each task fulfilled, her confidence and strength grew. Between missions, Earlybird regularly sought out the teachings of Salm Hargren to improve her battle efficiency. She then set out to the camp of Grellin Whitebeard in southern Coldridge Valley for her most challenging mission yet. Grellin tasked Earlybird with determining the strength of the ice trolls encamped in the southern parts of the valley. Earlybird was awestruck at the responsibility she now had. Despite this, she snuck into their camps, assassinated a number of them, and retrieved the tools of a gnome, Felix Windelbolt, all while assessing the nature of the troll threat. She reported back to Grellin with evidence of her deeds. Grellin, somewhat astounded at the young dwarf's speed and fervor, awarded Earlybird with a brand new dagger. She was ecstatic. The blade was light and perfectly balanced. It felt wonderful in her hand. Although her previous weapon had a sentimental value, it was once her mother's, she stowed it away for now. She would always keep it with her, regardless of any additional items she may find on her travels. Grellin Whitebeard was impressed by Earlybird's resolve, but he had another test for her: to assassinate the leader of the ice trolls in Coldridge Valley, Gricknir the Cold, and retrieve Grellin's lost journal. Earlybird swallowed deep upon hearing this, as she realized the gravity of this quest. She had to steal into the troll-infested cave, assassinate the troll leader, and retrieve the journal. No easy task. Though, at this time of uncertainty, she remembered her training, her father's encouraging words, and the will of her mother. It emboldened her as she made her way to the cave's entrance. Earlybird melded with the shadows and began in. She could smell the putrid odor of the trolls almost immediately. She kept close to the walls and waited patiently for the troll guards to turn away from her. Earlybird moved like death itself, silently and free. There were a few close calls, of course, but she knew to stay still and hold her breathing until the trolls lost interest, something she learned from Salm. Finally, she found herself at the top of a raised platform, looking down at Gricknir and one of his bodyguards. She had the drop on him. Earlybird edged close to the lip of the platform and dropped down on the unsuspecting trolls and hid in the shadows. She drew her trusty throwing axe, aimed it, and embedded it into the back of the bodyguard. Startled, the trolls charged to attack the unseen assailant. Earlybird engaged, her blade moved fast and true. She dodged the incoming assault the best she could, all while countering, plunging her dagger deep into the trolls' bodies again and again. Earlybird made quick work of the bodyguard. The wound she inflicted made him slow and weak. Sensing this weakness, she thrust her blade into his sternum. He fell. Earlybird now focused her senses on Gricknir the Cold. His eyes were bloodshot. She could smell the rage of Gricknir in the air as he feverishly tried to slash her with his notched sword. But now something new also arose. She could also smell a surmounting scent of fear as the troll could feel that death was coming for him. Her attacks became faster and faster, until finally, she finished the troll. She flipped her blade around in her hand and sliced horizontally, cutting the troll leader deep across the gut, eviscerating him. The troll's eyes drew wide. He then dropped like a felled tree. Early Bird, without thinking, immediately searched his still warm corpse and found the tattered journal stuffed into the troll's vest. She retrieved it and blended immediately back into the shadows. None of the other trolls were alerted. She took this time to breathe deep. However, only half of her task was done. She had to now escape. But currently, even at the realization of the obstacle that lay before her, a smile crept over Early Bird's face. She wasn't as green anymore. No. She was now a force to be reckoned with. She was now an assassin. She was now a protector of her proud people. For the first time in her life, Early Bird knew herself. Early Bird deftly made her way through the dark labyrinthine cave once more, dodging the now alert ice trolls. She watched from the shadows as they frantically scurried to the rear of the cave, towards the, now cold, corpses of her slain enemies. Upon seeing the first sliver of the sun's light ahead of her, a freshness saturated Early Bird's senses. This light meant more to her now. It meant freedom. It meant a new beginning. But in truth, Early Bird only had an inkling of what was to come. Her exploits here earned her respect. But more than that, they earned her passage to amazing adventures. Menial her first tasks were, paled in comparison to what was ahead. As she left the cave, she thought of her mother, her father, her land, and her people. Important as they were, what lay before her now was something far greater. Filled with confidence, Early Bird made her first steps into the light, now as a member of the Grand Alliance. The stout and sturdy Bronzebeard dwarves and the industrious gnomes have lived in safety within the winter wonderland known as Dun Morogh for many centuries. However, in recent times, things have been somewhat amiss. The gnomes, having destroyed their capital city of Gnomerigan, now live in exile with the dwarves. Trogs, trolls, wendigos, and other beasts have become more bold, attacking dwarven and gnomish settlements. And the threat of an all-out war with the Horde seems imminent. But despite these recent troubles, Dun Morogh's snowy, pristine beauty can be summarized with one word: home. As you, the fledgling adventurer, prove yourself while questing, you are kept in a constant state of awe by the surmounting beauty of Dun Morogh. As the airy peaks rise, so does your hope for better days, all while the soft, melodic tunes of the mountains lull you into a state of serenity. However, don't let Dun Morogh fool you. It can also be a dangerous place. After all, winter's grasp can mean death to even the most seasoned adventurer. You will be tasked with eradicating threats to the kingdom of King Magni Bronzebeard from all sorts of enemies, including ice trolls, trogs, and even some wildlife. You will also be tasked with determining the extent of the radioactive decay seeping out of the once great city of Gnomerigan. And watching over it all is the great mountain of Casmodan, and within its ancient heart, the stone-wrought stronghold of the Bronzebeards, Ironforge. Dun Morogh's cold exterior somehow conveys a certain warmth that other zones cannot. Perhaps it's memories of the holidays that we subconsciously are drawn to, or the joy of snow we had as young children. Personally, as a Horde player, I feared writing about Dun Morogh. I didn't think I could understand the beauty that so many players speak of. However, I am so glad I was wrong. Dun Morogh has captivated me as well. The land, the story, the music, the sights, and the majesty of the snowy peaks have made me see the game in a brand new way. If you haven't experienced Dun Morogh in the classic era of World of Warcraft, I beg that you do. The strong dwarves and intelligent gnomes never let you forget that this is their land, their home. It can be yours as well. Head to Karanos with some friends and stop in the inn for a mug of ale and lively conversation by a warm fire. You'll be glad you did. I guarantee you'll soon feel like family. Safe travels in Azeroth, my friends. And don't forget to stop and smell the roses from time to time. Hello, adventurers. Thanks so much for stopping by. I really hope that you enjoyed your stay here on Classic WoW Tales. This took a tremendous amount of work to make, but none of it would be possible without the hard work and voice acting of some friendly volunteers. I would personally like to thank Earlybird Rogue, a close friend of ours and the channel, for writing Earlybird's backstory and introduction for this video. His love and passion for Earlybird and Dunmorrow shine through every word. Also, I would like to thank Tsunami, Chimley, and DefCamp for their voice acting parts. If you haven't checked out Chimley's channel, a link will be in the description. If you liked this video, please leave a like below. If you enjoy this type of content, or are interested in other types of videos we make here at DefCamp and Meldoron TV, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more guides, DefTalk interviews with WoW content creators and enthusiasts, Meldoron's Classic WoW vlogs, Y Classic, and more classic WoW tales. Also, join us on Discord to be part of the DefCamp and Meldoron TV community, and follow us on Twitter for video updates and more. Links will be in the description. Also guys, check us out on ClassicWow.live. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our wonderful patrons who make videos like this possible. If you want to help us make better content by supporting us directly, consider becoming a patron. There are a number of rewards that you may find interesting. A link to the Patreon page is available in the description, and will also be available at the end of the video as a clickable link. Thanks for watching. This is Meldoron, signing off. Keep on keybinding and grinding, baby. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone, this is DefCamp.
And this is Meldoron.
We just wanted to thank you for being an amazing community and wish you all a very happy and healthy holiday season.
And have an amazing new year, guys. See you all in 2019.
Keep on keybinding and grinding.